closer. That's June 16. Entrepreneur and Soweto-born Ttmbha will be hosting yet another charitable golf day. It's to mark the 55th anniversary of the Soweto student uprising. Well, to tell us all about his plans, the golf day itself, which is less than a month from today, and his thoughts about the challenges of the youth today, Ttmbha joining us now in the studio here on the Midday View. Titi, welcome. Thank you very much for your time. I need to start here first. As a young person, what's the significance for you of that Soweto student uprising 45 years ago?
Well, I'm not as young as I used to be, but I'm 42. So the significance of Youth Day for me as someone who was born in 1979 is that we are aware that a lot of sacrifices were made at the time by the youth who took a stance, a very historical stance that I think we need to always remember and commemorate as a youth of today. I mean, I'm 7 years out of the youth bracket. However, I think through this event, we want to always remember those fallen heroes.
Now, those fallen heroes had particular issues and mostly around Bantu education and the imposition of Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. Today's youth challenges, I mean, you're just 7 years out of that bracket, as you say, but you're still young enough to be in touch with the young people.
Correct.
What are the challenges that you are hearing about?
The kind of challenges that the youth of today are facing are obviously very different from the youth of 1976. We are faced with GBV, one of the greatest pandemics in our time. We are faced with COVID-19. And I think just in general, unemployment is one of the biggest challenges that the youth are facing. And I think we need to try and find ways and solutions to kind of curb this pandemic of unemployment, especially in the townships. And I think through this golf day, we want to create employment for some of the caddies. These are young youth who are sitting in and around the townships that we want to create jobs for the day. We want to look at photography students who are actually thriving in their spaces but don't have the opportunity or the platform to be able to, expose.
I was just wondering, why have you decided to use a so-called rich man's game to mark such a day? So you are linking it in trying to create some job activity for some of these young people in and around Soweto.
100%. It's an opportunity for some of these young people to be exposed to business people that they would ordinarily not have access to.
So there's a networking opportunity there as well?
Absolutely. Golf is a sport that is about networking. You have 4 to 5 hours with these business leaders.
Yeah, you're a young entrepreneur. I mean, still at 42, as you say. What challenges have you faced, and what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur who might be watching and listening to you right now?
Well, when I was a youth, we didn't have social media. We didn't have access to some of the facilities that the current youth have. And I'd like to urge them to use the opportunities that they have. Some of us never had, social media or digital platforms to be able to spread our businesses or expose them to the market. And I think they have an opportunity to kind of use those elements and those facilities at their disposal.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because we are in the digital era, and the coronavirus pandemic has really dragged us fully into it faster than before. There are some 4IR opportunities, fourth industrial revolution opportunities. Is that where you think the young people should focus going forward?
That is exactly where it's at. But it's also upon government to be able to have access for the youth. I think the Department of Communications has got a tough job to do.
So access is still a problem?
It's still a big problem. You walk into malls, there's no free Wi-Fi. Why is that in this day and age?
And I guess it's worse in the townships and rural areas.
Especially in the townships. And I think those are the most neglected parts of our country.
Yeah, so how do you plan out of this 45th anniversary of the way you're going to mark it, as you've explained with that golf day in Soweto, June 16, how do you plan to sustain your support for the young people? Because you've got entrepreneurial initiatives that I'm aware that you are doing. How do you plan to sustain that?
So beyond the day itself, we are planning to have quarterly events that are leading up to the 16th every year. And through those...
so this is not going to be a one-off?
No, definitely not. It's going to be an annual event, but we'll have other events that are quarterly. And what's important to mention as well is that I'm a brand SA ambassador, and this whole initiative is about playing your part as a South African. Play your part in making a difference in the communities out there, no matter how small or big it is. As long as we can all play our part, we've done a job.
Thank you very much, Ttmbha, and good luck with that Youth Golf Day. And if somebody wants to take part, how do they get in touch with you?
They can access us on social media. The page is called Soweto Youth Golf Day, and all the information is there. And if you want to participate,
Youth Golf Day.
Yeah, you can get it there. 100%.
Thank you very much. That's Ttmbha, Soweto-born entrepreneur, and he's trying to do his bit and is asking all of us to do our part.
Joining us now is Ttmbha. You may know him for a lot of things, but he is here for something very specific, right? To commemorate Youth Day this year. Soweto-born businessman and philanthropist Ttmbha will be hosting a golfing tournament to commemorate 45 years of the 1976 Soweto uprising. Good night, boys.
Good night, Ttmbha.
Good to see you. It almost feels like we've done this before, but we never actually have done this like this before.
This is my first interview with you, actually, and we've had so many conversations prior to this.
Tell me something. Someone that comes to the golf day on the day, what can they expect to find?
So it's going to be one jam-packed golf day that deals with a lot of charity elements, mentorship, and as well as development.
Right.
So the whole idea of the golf day is that we want to raise funds for the Soweto Cliptown Youth Center.
Okay.
Where we're going to donate blankets. In fact, Cecily have already donated 100 blankets, and we're going to also donate some non-perishable food.
Why golf, Ndoda? Like, of all the things, why golf?
Look, I just think growing up Ekasi, we never had the privilege of being exposed to sports like golf. Soccer was the only sport of choice.
Right.
And I just think, now that we are a little bit, more traveled and we know what's happening around the world, I think golf is an opportunity for a lot of young people, especially the youth, to be exposed to people that they wouldn't ordinarily have access to on an ordinary day. So there'll be business people, there'll be celebrities that we've invited for the day. And it's a sport of networking. So here's an opportunity for them to be exposed to these business leaders and entrepreneurs.
And sport does do that. It does manage to somehow just bring us all together. I imagine this is how this event started for you.
Correct. So I'm a brand as a player part ambassador.
Okay.
And part of the player part ambassadorship requires us to play our part in everything that can help uplift the society. It's got nothing to do with money.
Yeah.
It's about me playing my part to bring people together in a common cause of development and charity, and we encourage other South Africans to actually play their part as well.
And if people want to be part of the event on the day, how can they go about doing that?
Well, unfortunately, we're sold out. We had such an uptake, and so we can't have any more people coming on the day because of COVID restrictions and numbers that we have to manage. So maybe they can look forward to next year, but they can check out our page, Soweto Youth Golf Day, on Instagram, and all the information is there. They can actually go there and check out what's happening on the day.
You're a public figure yourself, but I imagine you've invited other public figures to join you on the day for this event. Who are they? How did you get them on board?
So I approached my celebrity friends who are actually golfers. Ttmbha Touch will be there on the day, Andile Ngube, OG Mulefe, Stanton Fredericks, Thomas and Lambo. So these are all guys with influence, but who actually love the sport, and we just asked them to be part of the day, and they've agreed to do so. I actually invited the president as well, but he unfortunately couldn't make it.
I hope he's easy. Tell me something, TT. I mean, Youth Day, right, for you, 45 years on, what does it mean for you?
Look, I'm obviously 7 years outside the youth bracket, but for me, it means that we need to respect and commemorate those that actually sacrificed their lives for the freedom that we're enjoying today. The fact that you and I can have this conversation is as a result of the sacrifices, and we never should forget that as a people. And that's why we're commemorating this through the sport of golf.
Okay, I imagine you're going to raise a lot of money on the day, or you're hoping to. Do you have a target? Do you have a number?
Look, our target was to fill up all the holes, which we've done. And the next now is to allocate funds that will go to the Sky Foundation, which is the Soweto Cliptown Youth Foundation. And we just want to be grateful to all the sponsors that actually bought holes for this great cause. They'll be great. We're also creating employment for the caddies, so no one is allowed to use carts. We're going to employ 72 caddies on the day and bring 10 student photographers from Soweto to give them an opportunity to come capture the day and actually showcase their work. So it's going to be an amazing day of employment, mentorship, and development as well.
That is cool, man. Just to use my caddies and they earn something on the day.
They're getting paid on the day, and they will also be served meals the same as the golfers. So we're not going to separate them in terms of the meals as well. They will be part of the day, and I've created some very cool bibs for them. Very cool branded bibs. And thank you to Gauteng province as well. And Brand South Africa, of course, for being the main partners on this golf day.
Powerful stuff, man. So you've sold the holes. How much money have you made? How much
we haven't actually come, because we were selling a hole at 16,000 rand, and individuals were paying 1,600 to play. And obviously, there's a lot of expenses that we obviously need to run with producing the material, the PR team, the logistics team, the operations team. But we're going to actually raise quite a significant number of funds for us to buy the food and the blankets. I'm excited about that because the blankets is something that a lot of people in the township can use. Especially now that we're going into winter and it's getting quite cold and load shedding is actually upon us as well. So
I like that. So, and this is an annual thing, right? It's going to be an annual thing, but the beauty about it is that we're also going to have quarterly mentorship golfing workshops leading up to the next one. So it's actually quite exciting, and we would like to urge all the corporates to join for next year.
Awesome stuff, man. Listen, good luck with all of it.
Thank you. I'll see you there.
Ngizobona bengakayitholi invite.
I'm already not a golfer anyway, so you're fun.
Hey, we'll take that off camera. Trust you to try and pull a stunt. 16th of June, that's the date. The Soweto Youth Golf Day is going down, to make sure that you sign up and support. For now, thank you so much.
Entrepreneur Ttmbha hosted a golf day at the newly revamped Soweto Golf Club in celebration of Youth Day. The event was aimed at exposing the youth of Soweto to the sport. The man himself, TT, joins us now via Zoom to chat a bit about that. TT, good morning to you. Thank you so much for making the time, and congrats on hitting this event off. Now, I know it was supposed to actually happen on June 16, but it had to be, postponed. You've successfully hosted it on the 22nd. For our viewers at home, can you briefly tell us a bit more about the purpose of the event, and also if you're hoping to make this an annual event?
Well, firstly, good morning to you and your viewers. Yeah, so the Soweto Youth Golf Day was supposed to happen on the 16th of June, and basically the whole premise of the golf day was to commemorate 45 years of the Soweto uprising in Soweto at the Soweto Country Club. And the whole idea was to bring in different business leaders, celebrities and the likes, to be able to interact with these youth who would ordinarily not have access to these business leaders. But unfortunately, that didn't happen because of riots that took place on the 16th. So we then cancelled the event on the 16th of June, but that actually gave birth to another event that I created, which is the Ttmbha Caddy Golf Day, which was solely focused on developing caddies and giving them an opportunity to actually shine on the day. And guess what? They actually got paid to play on the day.
That's great to hear, TT. Now, TT, you mentioned the youth not having access to business leaders. So speak to me about how important it is for you to keep the Soweto Golf Club, which is now, been revamped, going, and also what it means for the people of Soweto itself.
Well, here's a fact. The Soweto Country Club is the only 18-hole golf course in a township in and around South Africa. So it's important for us to preserve the heritage of the course, because the course does employ a lot of staff to work there. So we need to encourage more golfers to actually go and play there and pay their green fees and actually hire the caddies, because that's their bread and butter. But as of Monday, what we've actually decided to do is to upscale these golfers and these caddies from just being caddies, but also becoming tour guides in and around Soweto. They need to understand more about the heritage of the township itself, so that when people come to play golf there, they can become the tour guides. And we want to set up a system where they can even start their own tour guiding businesses with the help of Gauteng Tourism. So there's a commitment from the CEO of Gauteng Tourism to actually help develop these caddies, and there's going to be a training session that will take place where we want them to think outside the box. They mustn't limit themselves as just caddies. Even the Minister of Social Development actually alluded to the fact that they need to become bigger than just caddies. Who knows, maybe one of them can become the next professional golfer in South Africa.
That is true. Now, we're always talking about the new normal. We've been in this COVID-19 space, unfortunately, for more than a year now, TT. There might be people at home and they're listening to you right now. There might be sponsors who might be able to assist also. So speak to us a bit about your planning for the event, especially because you had to change the date, and also in line with COVID-19 restrictions that we're facing.
So obviously, in terms of COVID protocols, we actually limit the numbers to a certain number of people that the course can accommodate. But what's happened now is that we are going to make this an annual event. So every year on the 16th and the 17th of June, we'll host the Soweto Youth Golf Day and the Ttmbha Caddy Golf Day respectively. And we urge all sponsors to come on board, because this is for a good cause. At the end of the day, it's about charity. We've been able to raise enough funds to donate to 6 NGOs in and around Soweto, where we donated blankets, courtesy of Cecily, blankets, and also non-perishable groceries. So it's not just about the golf, but also doing good for the community in and around Soweto.
That's great to hear. It's always good for us to go ahead and do our fair share and give back. Now, TT, just a quick one. a lot of and especially the black child, and especially the black boy child, is often playing football. That's what we do in our townships. A sport such as golf, if you take the equipment into regard, of course, is quite an expensive sport. So how can we assist the kids who are wanting to play the sport, especially in Soweto itself, who might not be able to afford to do so? How do we get them involved?
So this is where I need the support of corporates to come to the party, because they can structure their operations around creating development funds for these young kids in and around different townships. And that's what we're urging with this golf day. It's not just about the 2 days, but actually every quarter we'll have mentorship sessions and coaching sessions where we bring professional golfers and life coaches to be able to interact with these youth, give them skills that they need outside the sport. Because remember, golf is a sport of discipline, it's a sport of etiquette, and that also can be taken into your personal life. So I'm urging all the corporates and sponsors to please help us in trying to push this, because it's not just an annual thing, but something that we want to do on a quarterly basis as well.
All right, let's go to the story now. As we end the week, we are now clearer as to the extent of the political fallout